How's it going, everyone? So an interesting report came out this morning from Adam Schefter stating that it doesn't sound like that Aaron Rodgers will be traded to the New York Jets before the NFL draft. So this is a very interesting report. I mean, I feel like this has just been dragging on and on and on. And at this point, we're all just sitting here just waiting for this to finally happen. We just want this all to be over. Us Packers fans want to move forward with Jordan Love and whatever we get for Aaron Rodgers. And Jets fans want to move forward with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and none of that has happened. Jets general manager Joe Douglas even said a couple days ago that Aaron Rodgers will be here, so I really don't think it's going to be that Aaron Rodgers doesn't get traded to the Jets. It's just both teams are really dug in on what their value is for Aaron Rodgers right now, and nothing is moving. Like, there's nothing going on right now. Here's what Adam Schefter had to say about it this morning on SportsCenter. Not a lot has changed in the last couple of weeks. I don't think there's much, if any, conversation between the two teams about bringing an Aaron Rodgers trade closer to fruition. I think there are people in Green Bay and New York who are not inclined to move at all right now, and the standoff continues and the showdown is on, and neither seems willing to give in. And so this is a showdown that threatens to go into and maybe even past the NFL draft. So that's definitely an interesting thought. I think everyone, including myself, thought that this would get done before the NFL draft. Now we're getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. Some people are saying, okay, this is going to happen on draft night. You know, in the first round, the trade is going to be announced for Aaron Rodgers and whatever the Packers get in return for the New York Jets. But now that it's looking like it could go past the NFL draft, I'm actually very interested to see how that would look in terms of the compensation and how that trade goes down. Green Bay seems quite content to wait until after the draft to make a trade. Both sides seem to be dug in. Jets general manager Joe Douglas said last week that Rodgers is going to be here amid rumors that the team will wait until the second day of the NFL draft to make the move for Rodgers. Rodgers' massive contract has proved difficult to move, and the differences in compensation have come to the forefront in recent weeks. Still, the Packers are likely to deal Rodgers to New York sometime before the heat death of the universe. So yeah, I don't think there's any denying that a trade with Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets is going to happen unless a random team swoops in and Aaron Rodgers agrees to going to that team instead of the New York Jets, which I don't see happening. I would love for another team to come in. I joked about the Patriots potentially coming in when the reports came out that they were shopping Mac Jones, and that would only drive up the value for Aaron Rodgers, especially if it was a division rival of the New York Jets that came into the discussion for Aaron Rodgers. So I want the Packers to get the most trade compensation for Aaron Rodgers. But at the same time, you can't hold this too long, right? You know you're going forward with Jordan Love at quarterback. You're going to be in OTA soon. You're going to be drafting your team, your next draft class around Jordan Love at quarterback. So you kind of don't want this distraction of, okay, Aaron Rodgers is technically still on the roster. What does that mean? Because even David Bakhtiari today on his podcast stated, you know, he basically claimed Aaron Rodgers was a Jet. So I'm sure this is going to happen, right? Like, there's no doubt that this trade isn't going to happen. But like I said, how long is this going to go on for? I'm just ready for it to be over. And if it is before the draft or even on draft night, I'm just still very interested to see what that draft compensation is going to be. I'm really hoping that it's 2 second-round draft picks this year, or like a second and a third, a conditional next year that can turn into a first, and the Packers don't have to give anything else with Aaron Rodgers, like that conditional 2025 that has been rumored. Who knows what both sides are on right now? Maybe the Jets' main concern is they want the Packers to pay more of Aaron Rodgers' salary. So as it stands right now, the cap hit Aaron Rodgers has against the Green Bay Packers is $31 million. If they trade him pre-June 1st, that jumps up to $40 million. They pay that $40 million this season, and then his contract is off the books for future years. There is no more Aaron Rodgers deal on the books. Now, if they go past the draft and they decide to wait for this trade even longer and basically just get back 2024 draft compensation and decide to do a post-June 1st trade, they're still going to owe that $40 million. That doesn't get any less. There's a misconception going around that if the Packers wait until June 1st, it's going to be cheaper, so why wouldn't they do that? That is not the case at all. Regardless of a trade this offseason, it is going to cost the Green Bay Packers $40 million against the salary cap. The difference between a pre-June 1st and a post-June 1st is when they pay that $40 million. Pre-June 1st, they pay all of it this year. It's off the books. They're good for 2024. A post-June 1st, they pay $16 million this year. So his cap hit nearly gets cut in half for this year, which in my opinion doesn't mean much if the Packers are going to be kind of reloading this year anyways. And then the remaining $24 million would go into into 2024. I feel like that hurts the Packers more than helps them. If this was, say, a defensive player and the Packers were reloading to go at another Super Bowl this year, then yes, you would do a post-June 1st designation, lower that player's cap it this year, and deal with the rest next year. But that is not the Packers situation. They're going into the first year of a new quarterback that they drafted just 2 years ago. They haven't really seen too much actual NFL snaps from Jordan Love. Obviously, they know what they have with him in terms of practice, but we haven't seen him in real live games, at least consistently. We've seen him in the Eagles game last year a little bit. We saw him in the Chiefs game before that. So it's not like you're going all in again this year. So in my opinion, I think the best course of action is to trade Aaron Rodgers pre-June 1st. And that can still happen if they wait until after the draft. Obviously, the draft being late April, they still have over a month to decide on a trade compensation, and they could still trade him pre-June 1st. So that really got me thinking of what would the compensation, turn out to be if the Packers wait until after this draft, because I think Aaron Rodgers' value kind of goes down a little bit the longer you wait. I think the Packers want draft selections, at least a couple this year, including some next year. So if you do wait, maybe the Jets are willing to give up a first rounder in 2024 if they, get what they want in this draft, and then they go ahead and say, okay, we'll just give you a first round next year. We want Aaron Rodgers. Let's move on to the season. Let's go for a Super Bowl in the Jets' perspective. But I don't know if that necessarily will be the case. I think the longer you wait, the Packers kind of lose some of that leverage. I think they have a lot of leverage right now. But in the same sense, and I've said this multiple times, I feel like both teams have so much leverage, and it's not just one or the other. It's not like, the Packers have all the leverage. They could sit here and wait, 6 months. They can't. And it's not like the Jets have all the leverage. They could sit here and wait 6 months, because they can't. Both teams need this to happen. So I'm very interested to see if it does happen after the draft, what that compensation turns out to be. Because at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers will be turning 40 years old this season. Will he play into 2024? We don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, if the Jets trade for Aaron Rodgers, that then becomes a them problem, not a Green Bay Packers problem. So they're going into this. They've been on this Aaron Rodgers forefront for so long now. They already know those concerns. So now really it's all about them just trying to pay less for Aaron Rodgers. And I think he would play 2 more years. I think he would play this year and next year for the New York Jets. That's what I believe. And I know he went on the McAfee show a month ago and said he was 90% retired going to the darkness retreat, but that was for the Green Bay Packers. This might spark a new flame in Aaron Rodgers' playing career, and he goes to New York, maybe makes a Super Bowl, wins a Super Bowl. I don't know, and that might be, hey, I want to keep playing. This is fun. This is a new organization. They have first-round wide receivers, all jokes aside. The team's very talented. So really, I do believe if Aaron Rodgers, goes to the Jets, it's going to be for 2 seasons. So I'm just really hoping the Green Bay Packers can capitalize that return for Aaron Rodgers. And honestly, if they get multiple, high round draft picks, a second, maybe a conditional first, I'm happy with that, because like I said, he's a quarterback turning 40 years old. That contract is absolutely absurd. So just simply dumping that, getting rid of it this year, I think is valuable enough to build around your future with Jordan Love. They're going to accept his 5th-year option, which is going to be a lot less than what Aaron Rodgers would cost next year, and that could also help their team in that way. But yeah, this is a report from Adam Schefter, so he's usually right about some things, not too much with the whole Aaron Rodgers atmosphere, but he still has his sources, whether it not be in Aaron Rodgers' circle, but with other teams and GMs and all guys in the organization of the Jets and the Packers as well. So I believe there is some credibility here, and I do believe there's still a chance it happens before the draft or on draft night or after the draft. It just seems like he said himself that both teams are just really dug in. But I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think the draft compensation would turn into, say, if they waited until after the draft? What would you then want for Aaron Rodgers if something couldn't become agreed upon before this draft? Also, guys, if you are new here and want more Packers news, analysis, and updates, salary cap, free agency, the draft, I do a mock draft every single week right here on this channel. If that does interest you, I'd really appreciate it if you went down and clicked the subscribe button, left a like on the video, and turn on post notifications. But that about does it for this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.